So can everybody hear me? Okay, that's interesting because neither David or I can hear you. So I'm not sure, do you want us to proceed or you want to try resolve? Proceed? Okay, this will be interesting. So if somebody has anything to say, just maybe lift a hand. You know what I'll try is I'm going to try logging off and coming back in, seeing if that makes any difference. Is that okay? Okay, give us 1 moment and I'll log out.
The owl is working now.
That's right. Hang on, Lori. I hear it out of there. Yeah, we did test it already.
Someone might accidentally hit the button.
It's the mute one. Yeah, we did that already, but it's not.
No, because we still can't see us.
Yeah, it's not responding. I don't know if we have to stop it and go live again.
We can hear you.
It looks like the internet
There
on
you
the
go.
bottom.
Let's see. Okay, let's ask if they can hear us once we see it. Can you hear us?
Michael, can you
Oh.
hear?
I heard you up for part of that. Yeah. Try again.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we got you there. Yeah.
So unfortunately, Michael will have to ask for delay due to our technical difficulty. We're going to have to restart the meeting over and redo the committee of adjustment.
Okay, fair enough.
Get through that, so,
Call
I'll
the
call
meeting.
the
Good job.
Committee of Adjustment meeting to order at 6:41. All members of council are present. We're restarting this meeting because we weren't able to be heard on YouTube. So we have a resolution to approve the agenda.
Yes, moved by Councillor Chason, seconded by Councillor Cannon. Resolved that the agenda for the Committee of Adjustment meeting scheduled for Tuesday, November 16th, 2021 be approved.
All in favor? No announcements, declaration of pecuniary interest, seeing none. Move to resolution to approve the minutes of September 7th.
Moved by Councillor Cannon, seconded by Councillor Chason. Resolved that the following minutes of the Municipality Wawa Committee of Adjustment be adopted as presented. Minutes of a Committee of Adjustment meeting held on Tuesday, September 7th, 2021, as contained on pages 1 to 3, inclusive of the minute book.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you. No old business under new business. 7.1, appoint acting secretary treasurer resolution.
Moved by Councillor Chason, seconded by Councillor Cannon. Resolved that the Municipality of Wawa Committee of Adjustment does hereby appoint Ms. Maureen O'Neill as acting secretary treasurer.
All in favor? Carried. 7.2, approve the actions of the secretary treasurer.
Moved by Councillor Cannon, seconded by Councillor Chason. Resolved that the Municipality of Wawa Committee of Adjustment does hereby approve the actions of the Secretary Treasurer with respect to the notification of the following applicant. B-221, Mr. Nick Alexopoulos, for consent under Section 53 of the Planning Act to sever Part Lot 343, described as Parts 1 and 2, RP IR 12308, located at 22 Gold Street, from a 10-foot laneway described as Part Lot 341, Part 2, RP IR 7713, and Lot 340, Plan M27, being the North of 17 restaurant located at 68 Broadway Avenue, and from Plan M27, Lot 334, Part Lots 343 and 337, RPIR 9525, Part 1, RPIR 12308, Part 3 and 4, Parcels 3816, located at 67 McKinley Avenue. The purpose of this severance is to separate the property located at 22 Gold Street from the laneway and the properties located at 68 Broadway Avenue and 67 McKinley Avenue, so that the residential lot at 22 Gold Street may be sold to another owner and remaining properties to be retained by the existing owner.
All in favor? Carried. 7.3, resolution to approve the application for consent.
Moved by Councillor Cannon, seconded by Councillor Chason. Resolved that application number B-221 submitted by Mr. Nick Alexopoulos for a consent to sever a lot located at 22 Gold Street from the properties located at 68 Broadway Avenue and 67 McKinley Avenue be approved for the following reason. No objections were received.
We had an excellent question the first time around. I think perhaps we pose the question so that the answer can be recorded into the minutes.
Okay, the question was, the laneway, that's private property?
Yes, the laneway is owned by 68 Broadway or the North of 17 restaurant.
And after this is all said and done, and these properties are separated, how is all this registered so that down the road impact whoever does it knows that this?
So when 22 Gold Street, subject to council's approval, is approved for consent to sever, it will be registered on title, sold to new owners, and registered in the assessment roll as a separate property. The remaining properties stay under the ownership of Mr. Nick Alexopoulos.
Thanks.
I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. We have a resolution to adjourn.
Moved by Councillor Cannon, resolved that the meeting be adjourned at 6:45? 6:46 p.m.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you. So now we'll move to the corporate planning meeting. I'll call the meeting to order and note all members are present. Go with 646, chapter 647. Disclosure of pecuniary interests, seeing none, move to approve the agenda. I'll ask Councillor Tate to move it. All in favor of approving the agenda? It's carried. Now delegations, we're going to hear from Mike Weil and Dave Reed regarding Wawa strategic plan. So gentlemen, glad you can hear us and we can hear you. So please go right ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. It's good to be back for this final discussion on your strategic plan. This evening, I'll walk you through the final version that we have arrived at with through consultations with many people, including yourselves. If I could have somebody make me host so that I could put the presentation up.
We're doing that right now.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, does council see that presentation as a full screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. All right. So, as I said, we'll be speaking about the strategic plan, and as council knows, back earlier in the year, our firm was retained to do a transformation review, and as part of the tail end of that transformation review, we were to do a strategic plan for you, and we've been working at that with your staff, yourselves, and the community stakeholders, and we're at the point now where we're able to present the final version. So what I'll do this evening is I'll walk you through at a high level how the plan is set up, and then I'll open it up to questions towards the end, and certainly happy to answer any that you may have. So it's important to recognize the governance leaders because you truly are the champions of this strategic plan, setting the vision for the town and for the municipality, I should say. And so it's important to recognize council as a whole as leaders in the development of this plan. And it really does demonstrate governance support for the content. So great looking group there, by the way. Our strategic plan is set up in a pretty straightforward setup. There's an executive summary with some background information, and I'll cover a little bit of that this evening. A message from the mayor, a message from the CAO treasurer, a little bit of background about how we got to where we got to. Then the important stuff that we find in every strategic plan: the mission statement, the vision statement, core values, key priorities and action items, the strategic plan at a glance, and the sample key priority and action item report card. So just as some background, as I said earlier, as part of the transformation review, which was very much like a service delivery review or an operational review, we conducted a fair amount of research into how Wawa does business. And through that process, there was some pretty extensive research and consultation, which included interviews with council staff, your auditor, and some stakeholders as well. And we also put out an online survey, which was well received and was helpful in informing that process, the transformation review. And with that as the background, we leveraged that information to start building the strategic plan. And to augment, we conducted 2 workshops, one with a group of community stakeholders who were excellent. They provided great feedback, and one with the municipal staff. And we leveraged a live polling software to help rank the information that we got. We made that presentation to council about the outcomes of the workshops roughly about a month ago. I think it was September 28th. And at that time, we left it with council to consider what was being put before them. And through your CAO, we received feedback. And that feedback is the genesis of what you see this evening. So when we think about the strategic plan, it really does complement the transformation review, and that really does ensure alignment. So you have a go forward strategic approach to goal setting. I would be concerned if they didn't align, but they do align quite well. And the strategic plan should always be read in conjunction with the transformation review. And to that end, as we look at your key priorities and action items, we have cross-referenced those to the transformation review for consistency of messaging and ease of reference. And I would say 85% or so of every one of your key priority action items do link back to your transformation review, which is excellent. That's what you want to see. This plan will guide you for the next 4 years to ensure business continuity. You will use it, you will monitor it, and you will report on it annually to make sure that it maintains its momentum. But at the same time, it's important to monitor it to make sure that there aren't some gentle course corrections that need to be done as part of that monitoring process. And the annual reporting of the strategic plan and the approval of the budget should be done around the same time so that one informs the other. Departmental work plans will then flow out of whatever council decides on an annual basis. And that will be utilized by the administrative staff to operationalize council's priorities and to ensure that they're coordinated across departments. And your CAO will lead those critical steps. So important also for the head of council, this good-looking man, to make some recommendations and some endorsements about the strategic plan. So I won't read them to you, but they're very straightforward, but they go straight to the point in the importance of using a strategic plan to identify your goals and objectives and to realize them. Also important that the administrative head as well also gets behind the plan and endorses it and talks about how important it is. So we have that as well from Maureen. In terms of background, this is no news to council, but the municipality is a Northern Ontario municipality, often referred to as the hub of the Northern Algoma region, and it really does lay claim to some spectacular natural beauty, which culminates in great opportunities for outdoor activities such as fishing, hunting, and hiking. And the municipality itself is attractive, well maintained. A great number of services are available. Wawa, like many municipalities in Ontario, face ongoing challenges, and these include the continuing COVID-19 pandemic, the growing infrastructure gap, and the ever-changing municipal legislative landscape. And these all do apply pressure to your resources. So by taking this strategic approach to service delivery and problem solving, you will be in a better position. You will leverage what's in the transformation review in terms of the strategic master and long-range planning as an opportunity for improvement. And this strategic plan will be the catalyst for that. And it will guide your decision-making from 2021 through to 2025. We do recommend that the staff reports do reference your strategic plan goals and key priorities to ensure they align well with council's vision and to support those recommendations that they bring forward in their staff reports. So the mission statement, that is what is in italics here. Council and its employees proudly serve the community by providing a balanced range of sustainable, affordable, and necessary core municipal services and programs that meet residents' needs. And then below is a bit of an explanation about what that really means. And it's based on the belief that your core purpose is in delivering these range of services and programs that meet the needs of the community and to ensure high quality services and financial viability and accountability. So that's important, and that should be something that should be top of mind all the time as you consider and make your big visionary decisions. Much like the mission statement, your vision statement talks about where you want to go. So, and that is Wawa is a sustainable community focused on providing essential and cost-effective programs and services that contribute to the well-being of all its residents. And really, when we think of a vision statement, it's an affirmation of your goals and objectives, and it sets the stage of what you will do and how you will do it. And it builds on your mission statement. It's really about how you'll govern responsibly. And really, when you achieve your vision statement, it's indicative that you've had success. So being able to look back and look at that vision statement and say, yeah, I feel like we're there, that will be indicative of that. Core values, they are your beliefs. They are what guide your actions. They are a statement about who you are as a government or as council, as staff, or volunteers. And they do remind you of how you will administer your affairs, deal with issues, or respond to the people. And they should guide your day-to-day as well as your long-term decision making. And your core values are, your first is integrity and respect. And that speaks to high standards of professionalism and ethical behavior. There's teamwork and collaboration, and that's an environment of equality where everybody's valued and treated with dignity and fairness, and where everybody works together. You have excellent customer service, and this is really about making sure that there is excellent public service, improving internal and external relationships, and responding quickly and professionally. You have fiscal responsibility and sustainability. This is striving to be better. This is efficiency and effectiveness. Long-term planning is a tool that you use to get that, increasing reserves for capital improvements and completing operational plans with a focus on best value. And also accountability. And this is an important one, being accountable and taking responsibility for everything the organization does, and striving to meet the annual goals and objectives and communicate those outcomes to the residents. And that's very important. When we think about key priorities and action items, this is where your vision really gets turned into action. And these are the steps you take to realize your goals, objectives, and vision. And as I mentioned at the onset, your transformation review topics are cross-referenced here to each applicable action item where that can be done. And when we think of key priorities and action items, these are the measurable things, so they're easier to monitor. You can look at that and say, yes, we've accomplished that. And each action item does come with an estimated timeline, but it's important to note that timelines are an estimate, and year to year, they can be variable. There can be a number of pressures that change throughout the year, but they're used for planning purposes. But it's important to note that they're not necessarily cast in stone, and they may require adjustments from time to time as you report annually to council. So it's important to monitor and report on these key priorities and action items to ensure that they maintain that positive momentum. So what are your key priorities? You have come up with 6, and they are infrastructure improvements, tourism and economic development, government operations, long-term financial planning, human resources, and programs and services. And you can think of these as buckets where you put your action items, where you categorize certain action items into. So if we look at the first one, infrastructure improvements, we have a quote here from AMO that talks about how, and this is so true, how municipal governments own more of Ontario's core infrastructure than any other order of government. So the lowest level of government when it comes to authority owns the highest amount of the infrastructure. And that's a really important statement. And it really puts a lot of emphasis on the responsibility that you as a council and staff are left with. And so your strategic goal is to reduce the infrastructure funding deficit and expand the use of strategies and innovative tools to effectively manage your long-term infrastructure needs. When we think about them, I believe you've got 10, and I'll show them to you. I won't go through them one by one, but afterwards, if council has any specific questions, I'm happy to do that. But in terms of layout, when we look at this, they're all laid out the same. On the left-hand side of the column, we have the reference number. So that is your strategic plan reference number of your key priority and action items. So INF obviously refers to infrastructure, and the -1 is the first item. And if we look at this one in particular, it reads update the asset management plan with condition assessments and levels of service. If we move to the next column, this is where you can get more detail and where council and staff may want to turn to reference what is meant by this. And this is the reference within the transformation review. If you go to topic AM01, you'll find the background information on that. And the estimated timeline in this case, this will be something that occurs on an annual basis. So staff will keep this one alive in perpetuity because of the importance of maintaining the asset management. And you've got several others all the way down. And I'm happy to speak about specifics towards the end, Council, if you want to zero in on one. As you can see, and I think this is really important, is that they all link back to the transformation review on this page. And that's really good. That's going to be helpful to you going forward. If we go to the second page of these, there are two on this page that don't link back to the transformation review. That's not problematic. In fact, it shows that you turned your attention to a couple of other priorities, and that's fine. But keeping in mind that you really haven't strayed from that transformation review, and that's excellent. So these are your 10 infrastructure improvement action items. If we move to the next topic, we have tourism and economic development. And this is a lengthy comment from Jessica Furlano, but she speaks about the importance of strategy and cooperation to ensure that there really is a good connection between built environment, social and cultural well-being of the community, and its sustainable growth. And it takes careful planning and good financial tools. So your strategic goal here is to facilitate the development and growth of a diversified and sustainable economy by supporting tourism, growth, and entrepreneurship. And those are three really good pillars to build on. So as we look at this, you have 9 on this page, you have 4 of them. Again, 3 of the 4 will link straight back to the transformation review. The 4th, although it doesn't have a topic in the transformation review, actually was discussed in the transformation review. So you haven't strayed, and that's just great. As we look at the second set of them, same sort of thing. 4 out of 5, I believe it is, are linked back to your transformation review. 1 does not, and that's fine. It's okay to have a few that aren't, and you're looking good there. So again, a lot of consistency. So you should be fine on that. I think about government operations. Alan Lakin commented that planning is bringing the future into the present so that you can do something about it now. And when you think about government operations, this is really the now. It's the things you're doing right now, or the programs and policies that enhance the effective and efficient delivery of government operations and services, and that is your strategic goal. So that's great. When we look at your action items, again, only one of them is not from the transformation review, but it came out loud and clear in your workshops. And frankly, this is a very common one we see when we look to small and remote municipalities, and that is the one for local medical professional recruitment program. And we see them everywhere that we do work. So that's great. You have another 5 more government operations like matters. And again, they align well with your transformation review. When we look at key priority for long-term financial planning, this is a quote from the province. Municipal governments are responsible for delivering services to local residents and must manage their finances effectively. I mean, that's a straightforward sentence, but so aligned with where we're going here. The strategic goal to develop strategies to achieve that long-term sustainability based on service objectives and financial challenges. So when we look at that, again, fully aligned on this page with the transformation review, all the things you would expect to see in a long-term financial planning approach, 10-year financial planning, the budget, the reserves, all of the things you would see there. When we look at human resources, a quote from Sir Richard Branson, train people well enough so that they can leave, treat them well enough so they don't want to. And your strategic goal is to take the best care of employees, ensure the best fit between employees and jobs while avoiding manpower shortages or surpluses. So really managing your resources. when we look at what we have here, we have 6 action items aligned very well with the transformation review. And the one that is not linked to the transformation review is a very strong best practice we see throughout the province again. So it fits very, very well there. Programs and services. The Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing says there are ever increasing expectations for governments to make informed choices about the services they provide to their citizens. This is evident for municipalities, whether facing times of positive economic growth or periods of fiscal restraint. So your strategic goal here is to carefully monitor and review internal and external programs and services to ensure they are relevant, state-of-the-art, efficient, and fiscally viable. And when we look at these, you've chosen 6. They are very well chosen, very well aligned, and best practice based, so that they will serve you also very, very well. So when we think about a strategic plan, there's a lot there. And what we always like to do is do what we call an at-a-glance summary sheet. It's a one-pager that we like to see staff and council pinning up to their bulletin board in their office, or maybe putting as a placemat on their desk somewhere, because it really does sort of encapsulate the totality of your plan in a summary version. So here's what we have. This includes your mission, your vision statement, your core values, and a synopsis of the key priorities and actions. So a very helpful tool for staff when they're writing their reports. You know, it's the type of thing that will help point them and collect their thoughts. And the final thing that we always include is just a sample of how you might set up a report card format for part of the annual action. Now, this does not mean that this will be all that will be included, but this will be a synopsis of where you stand on your actions, very similar to a school report card. But it would be accompanied by a report, I would imagine, by the CAO, who would have more detail in the report. But it's just a tool that can be used. So in this case, we just drew a sample from Human Resources. We quote the strategic goal. We show the actions on the left. We continue with the transformation review code, the timelines, who your lead is. So if you look at the first one, it is the CAO. And what is the status? It is started. And as you work your way down, you see not started, delayed, and complete. So this is just a little tool that might be helpful to council as well, if they're wondering about something, and they'll know who to go to, and if they want to talk offline with the CAO or the lead who's been assigned, just to get further information, perhaps before budget time or what have you. So it's a useful tool. A lot of our clients do use that. They usually customize it to their own needs. This is just a beautiful photo that your CAO provided, and just fits in really well, sort of a high-level snapshot of what's there in the wintertime and your opportunities for you. I thought it was a great photo, so we thought it would be good to include. And Mayor and Council, we are done our presentation. We are more than happy to respond to any questions you may have.
Thank you, Michael. Excellent presentation. Are there any questions from council at this time? I just wanted to comment, Michael, that I made a copy of the strategic plan and sat down with a highlighter to go through it. And other than noticing there were 2 D's in my name, and I said that you corrected.
Yes.
I really didn't have anything that I needed to highlight or wanted to change. In the initial presentation, there were, but we were able to share that with Lori, and she shared that with you. And I found that this is a very readable document, but also a document that, as a council, be able to work together to select their priorities from the various action items, and be able to set goals for this last term of council. As I was reading this and earlier read the transformation review, I thought with this coming October being election time in the province, these are two excellent documents that anybody who's contemplating running for council, if you get a copy from the municipality, read through this, they would certainly be up to speed on the major issues that the municipality is dealing with. And one of the things as a new councillors, and we were all the new councillor at one time and we ran for election, is going to a candidates night and realizing that you're going to have to face a lot of questions. Anybody who spends a couple hours with these two documents would be able to speak about the issues that are relevant to our community and issues that as a council you will work to deal with. And we bring different interests to a council table, and there's such a variety of goals and action items listed there that I think as a team we'll be able to really address a lot of the issues in our community. So thank you very much. I think that's probably one of the best strategic plans I've read. The main reason I think it's really good is that everything in that plan is doable. It's just a case of picking which ones you want to deal with first and going ahead and doing. And we've had so many different updates of policies. We are having, we have an asset management plan. We're working on a financial plan. All of these things combined with this strategic plan provide council and staff with a tremendous amount of information to be able to accomplish those goals. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure working with council and your staff and your CAO. It's been a very enjoyable project, and we'll be keeping an eye on you every so often, just checking on your council items to see what items you're checking off your list. It's kind of a follow-up thing that we do just to monitor it, and then we can say to our other clients that these things really do work, and here's an example of a municipality who's embraced it. And, we often refer them to take a look at what other municipalities have done with it. So we wish you best of luck, and I know David really enjoyed his visit up there when he was up there, and wishes he could have been gotten out on the water, but apparently the guide said he could get him out there, but he couldn't get him back. So he may have a few words.
Just want to thank you. I really enjoyed the process. I enjoyed interaction with council and staff and the stakeholders, and I wish you nothing but the best. And please, if in the future you think I may be of service with a quick call or an email, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to respond. And I know I talked to Pat Tate there one time at council. I think he promised me a fishing trip. So maybe I'll get up there for a visit sometime in the future.
Well, thank you, David. I'm sure if you go out with that, you'll be catching the biggest fish around. I just want to, just a last word. I think, Michael, the word you used just earlier, to embrace it. And I think that's exactly what council has to do, is embrace the ideas in this strategic plan and get it working for our community. And we will be a model community for you. Do check back with the CEO and we'll let you know how things go.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 5, adoption of minutes. Moved by Councillor Hatfield that we approve the minutes of corporate planning meeting from Tuesday, November the 2nd. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. There's no business arising from the minutes. Our first item under new business 7.1, vacancy rebate. Heather's going to speak to that for us.
I sure am.
Thank you. Go ahead.
All right, so the vacancy rebate program back in 1998 was introduced by the province as a mandatory program to enter into to provide relief to the property taxes to the owners of the vacant commercial and industrial land. This includes the buildings in which were on those lands. So in 2020, an amendment to the Municipal Act now allows municipalities the ability to eliminate the program through a municipal bylaw or amend the current criteria required to receive this rebate. So there are many benefits for eliminating this program, as it promotes tax fairness, as all properties pay annual taxes based on their current value assessment. It eliminates duplication of tax reductions, as those that qualify continue to receive reassessments to lower their assessed base based on them not being in business. And it does, the net property tax amounts for all property owners would decrease, because as you know, if we are providing rebates back, someone has to pay for those rebates, which is spread around all the taxpayers. So we are recommending phasing out this program effective the 2022 tax year, which means property owners who do qualify can still submit their application for the 2021 year taxation. So amending the bylaw to phase it out and use the expiry date of December 31st, 2022.
So is one of the major incentives to change this is to really encourage owners to do something about the business rather than just leave it idle, that you're going to pay more, so you may as well fix it up, sell it, or use it.
Yes, that is one of the main thing. And then out of these applications we do receive, they're repeat for at least 3+ years that they apply for this program.
And you know, particularly in Wawa at this time, where economy is really doing well, and I know in speaking to the CEO, we've had inquiries from people looking to rent properties on Main Street for business purposes. So certainly, I think it's a good idea to change that and encourage people to develop those properties or sell them or whatever, because there are people interested in doing something with these properties. Are there any other questions? Yes.
You said option 2 is recommended. But you say the drawback provides a financial incentive for properties to remain vacant.
And yeah, and the reason why is because if you went with option number 1, we would be done as of right now. There would be no more. So the drawback is we're going to continue another year with the same program with the same drawbacks as if it was last year. The reason why we're suggesting option number 2 is because it's so last minute. Just to give the ones that do apply an option for another year and for them to budget for that loss.
Go ahead.
Heather, how much money is this costing taxpayers?
So last year, it cost just under $9,600 last year.
And that money now is spread over the rest of the town, right?
Yeah, everybody else has to make up. Good, thank you. Excellent report. We're going to receive the report. Is that going to come to council at a future date?
Yes, we will bring forward an amended bylaw on December 14th for council's consideration.
I'll be watching. Item 7.2, there's a letter there from Ms. Mary Trevosian regarding the Economic Development Corporation. I know CEO spoke to her today. The letters for your information. Anyway, changes position on things, but I'm not sure if that's coming back in December as well.
Yes, and subject to council's agreement, we received a request for delegation because it was received at the past the deadline. We will refer it to December 14th, and I will be meeting with Mary next week to go over some of her questions in advance so she can be specific with her questions for council on the 14th. So we'll be coming forward to the next council meeting.
So, for Councillor Cannon, and just a reminder, whenever you have a delegation, generally it's not the purpose of the discussion and debate. You want to hear what the individuals have to say. Generally, no questions other than question and clarification. If you didn't understand something, you may ask that question of clarification. Basically, council receives the information, and then at appropriate time when council deals with that particular item, we may take those thoughts into consideration as we make their decision. We'll move to 7.3. You have a draft policy regarding delegations of powers and duties at council. So again, as you read through it, if you have any questions, you can bring questions forward to the clerk or to the CEO. And again, expecting that one to come in December as well.
Correct. And we do have a delegation of powers and duties authority policy in place. This is revising and updating the policy. And basically, council is authorized, and as you can see in the draft policy under sections of the Municipal Act or other legislation, to delegate some of its authority to staff. And this helps to speed up administrative processes, decision-making, and sometimes makes the job of council easier. So the chart attached, you can read what authority and powers we're recommending that council consider delegating to staff, but it certainly is a draft document. And as the mayor indicated, we look forward to council's input, and we will continue to request for staff's input so that we bring forward at the December meeting policy and bylaw that's suitable for council.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? Okay, so we move on to the staff report regarding the mayoral vacancy. That was not here. There are some recommendations there for council to consider. Marty, would you like to speak to those?
Yes, thank you. This report done by the clerk is being brought to this council meeting for information purposes and to share the processes to replace, should the position become vacant, any council's position. And as the clerk pointed out in her previous report, that there are various ways for council to replace a vacancy on council, and this report highlights those options. So this is for council to read and consider, and this will be brought forward at the next council meeting on December 14th, back to the corporate planning meeting, where council have opportunity after reading the report to discuss, possibly debate recommendations that council would have to replace any vacant council position. So this is for information. You can certainly contact myself or the clerk if there's any questions. And it's just for information purposes today.
All right. Thank you. Item 7.5, revisions to the emergency plan. Appendix G, general hazard checklist, and H, critical infrastructure identification. The earlier, we had an excellent afternoon or morning of workshop related to emergency management, and a good discussion looking at plans. So, when we see the tragedy unfolding in South British Columbia, we realize how important it is to have an emergency plan, and not just to have it sitting on a shelf, but to review it and plan some strategic programs or to know what to do when an emergency comes up, and we're ready to work and help your residents. So it's good to see all that work being done, and certainly encourage council to always make sure that these plans are up to date and we have time and resources to train. Thank you. Someone just speak to the updated revisions? The Annex G and H will be amended into the emergency management plan. They have been updated. Thank you to Sue's coordination, where the emergency management committee gathered together and did an annual exercise and reviewed our plan and
There are some small recommended changes to the hazard checklist and the critical infrastructure identification that will be added to at tonight's regular meeting and to the emergency management plan.
Great, thank you. So there's no in-camera session. Our next, for your next meeting date is Tuesday, December 14th, 2021. I could have Councillor Cannon move to adjourn this meeting at 7:27. In favor? Carried, thank you. Call the regular council meeting of November 16th to order at 7:28. No calling the council present. I'm going to, at this stage, and I know Councillor Chason has an announcement. We don't see it on the agenda, so we'll do it right now. Councillor Chason, you'd like to make your announcement?
I just want to let council know that we received the certificate of appreciation from the Royal Canadian Legion to the Wawa Cemetery Committee. And I'll bring that to the committee tomorrow because we have a meeting tomorrow. And my concern is the job well done. They were recognized, and thank you for council for supporting us.
Thank you, Bill. Yeah, at the Remembrance Day service,
That's a really big tomorrow.
Derek Matricus from the Legion made a particular point of acknowledging the excellent relationship between Legion and the municipality, and how much Legion has appreciated the work that takes place between the both organization and the assistance that he has received from both council and staff. So it was really good to hear that. I also would like to announce that yesterday I submitted my resignation as mayor, effective November 30th. Earlier this week, when I was starting to clean up my office, I came across an ad that I had in the Global News for the November 13th, 2000 elections, which was the first time I was elected to council. And I was wondering who that young boy was in that picture. It's been 21 years. I can't believe that it's gone by that quickly. But it's certainly with mixed emotions that I leave. It has been a very rewarding job to work for your municipality. I've worked with some wonderful people, and I think over the last 2 decades, there's really some wonderful things happening. As I went through those first couple of years, I always used to try to remember that there's always that meeting when this room is full, and you just feel the tension in the air. And then after 2 years, you try to think back and say, well, what was the biggest issue in 2004? What was the big issue in 2007? And although you can see them as a group, you don't really remember them. Things make noise for a while and then it settles down and you carry on. But I'm just thinking of some of the things, the closing of Skigo filled this place up. Superior Aggregates in the Trap Rock to fill this place up more than once. We certainly had some issues with where to put the water treatment plant. We looked for all kinds of places, and that was good. Moving from our own police force to the OPP, build this place up a few times. So, one of the biggest one was a smoking bylaw. We suffered through that for months, and I think a week after we passed the no smoking bylaw, the province passed one for the whole province. Why did we have to do all that? And I think landfill issues have been going on since I've been on council for 21 years, and we're still working on trying to resolve that. I think two of the biggest highlights just happened in the last few years, and that is the building of the new Goose and certainly the building of 37 Algoma, the new seniors building in our town. very, very wonderful. And then just to see the revitalization of our community, old buildings coming down, new buildings going up, old buildings being renovated, streets being paved. Our town is looking really, really well, and people are so positive. There's a real positive attitude out there, and it's really wonderful to see. And you know, municipalities are taking on new roles. We're active with the hospital to work on physician attraction and retention, because those are extremely important things. We have, you know, it's all about the quality of life for our residents, and it's not just you know, those basic things we used to think towns did, but we have to work on recreation issues and healthcare issues, safety issues. So I'm certainly happy that over the last 21 years I did that with many wonderful people in this room, and I have nothing but admiration for anybody who wants to do this job, and encourage people to do it, because it is satisfying. And I wish all of you the very best. We'll keep an eye on you. And as I said in my letter, I'll cheer you on from Suzanne Race. So thank you very much.
Mayor, can I take a few minutes?
Yeah, sure.
I'd like to take a few minutes to thank Mayor Rhodey and briefly acknowledge Mayor's numerous contributions to the community. He loves and lived in this community for more than 50 years. 21 years of that were service to the wall as mayor and councillor. Mayor Rhodey ran for his first municipal councillor position in 2000 and was elected on November 13th, receiving the highest number of votes of all candidates who run. He took the seat in council and chambers on December 1st, 2000. It's going to make your 21 years.
21.
Mayor Rhodey then continued to run for council positions successfully in 2000, 2003, 2006, and again in 2010, serving as a municipal councilor for 14 years. Before putting his name in for the hat for the mayor in the fall of 2014. In October 2014, the mayor received the overwhelming majority of votes cast, receiving just over 82% to become Wawa's mayor, and has served in this community faithfully and fully in that position for the past 7 years. Mayor Rhodey has overseen many positive changes in the community over the past 21 years, from the rebuilding of the Mission Road, design and community fundraising efforts to result in the new Wawa Goose statue, to participating on the Goma District Services Board for many years, where he encouraged and lobbied for the building of the new seniors housing unit on Algoma Street, which is very special. The mayor has worked with 7 different groups of councillors and mayors, and will always be remembered as a team player with diplomacy and tact. Mayor Rhodey has always attended council meetings, prepared, and does his homework for every council decision. He has served in his community well and has every quality a good mayor requires, including the ability to listen respectfully and weigh out different options, a determination to look at what's best for the community rather than the best what's specific for a friend or a special interest group, the willingness to vote a lot of time, which he does a lot of extra duties, have big shoulders and not take everything personally, although it is very hard at times. Mayor, you are unselfish, giving, and a fair leader who ran for municipal council for 21 years. Stayed there 9, you could have got a pension.
Yeah.
With no hidden agenda other than to make life better for all of us who live and work in Wawa. I respect you for the support, honesty, and your integrity. You have mentored each council member here and offered advice and support to all of us over the years so we could do our job better. I would take hours to recognize you for all what you had given and accomplished in the past 21 years. But I will summarize by saying that by saying you gave yourself unselfishly for 21 years, and it's time for you to give more of your time and energy to your family and beautiful grandchildren. We will miss you and your leadership, but we wish you and Lena all the joy and happiness as you start your new journey of life at the end of the month. In Sault Ste. Marie as Grandpa Woody.
Well,
I'd like to present you with a nice goose picture here.
I said to Lena, I can wear my jeans because it won't be coming from behind the desk.
Yeah, that's what it's.
At least you have pants on.
Those were very wonderful and kind words. And I think one of the things that Pat said in that I think that these counselors and anybody who will consider to become a counselor, you ask yourself one question: what's best for the municipality? And if you always ask that question and you always act on what's best for the municipality, you will never make a mistake. So thank you. I'll complete my set. I have all three.
And now we have to go back to approve the agenda and the declaration.
Yeah. Well, I started right after the call to order, so I'll do the disclosure of pecuniary interests. Ready? Okay. We go ahead and read it, please.
I, Councillor Kathy Cannon, declare a potential indirect pecuniary interest on agenda item 14.4, item title, legal issue, because I'm an employee.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda, we have a resolution.
Moved by Councillor Tate, second by Councillor Cannon, resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of council scheduled for Tuesday, November 16th, 2021 be approved as amended.
All in favor? Carried, thank you. There are no delegations or presentations. Oh, sorry. Here's our announcements, making a notice. No, I missed it together, so, the items coming up for the next 2 or 3 weeks, so you'll note them all there. Under adoption of minutes, we have a resolution.
Moved by Councillor Cannon, second by Councillor Tate, resolved that the following minutes of the meeting of council be adopted as presented. Minutes of a regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021, as contained on pages 1 to 6, inclusive of the minute book.
All in favor? Carried, thank you. Nothing under correspondence. The consent agenda, we have a resolution.
Moved by Councillor Tate, second by Councillor Cannon, resolved that the items listed under the consent agenda, items 8.2 to 8.4, be approved as recommended.
All in favor? Thank you. There's staff reports. We have a resolution to receive the mayoral vacancy and the vacancy rebate report.
Moved by Councillor Tate, second by Councillor Hatfield, resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of Wawa does hereby receive the following staff reports, a copy of which are attached here too. CC 2021-10 mayoral vacancy, HR 2021-01 vacancy rebates.
All in favor? Thank you. Nothing under business arising. We did nothing in new business, notice of motions. Number 13, bylaws. First, second, third reading.
Moved by Councillor Hatfield, second by Councillor Tate, resolved that the following bylaw be introduced and read a first, second, and third time and finally passed, and that the mayor and deputy clerk do sign and seal the same, any rule of this council to the contrary notwithstanding. Bylaw number 3442-21, to amend bylaw number 484-87 and authorize the municipality of Wawa to enter an agreement with Wilderness Helicopters 2009 Limited for the use of lands at the Wawa Municipal Airport. Bylaw number 3443-21, to authorize the corporation of the municipality of Wawa to enter into an agreement with Carol Ann Robinson for the lease of a center portion of 96 Broadway Avenue, lower floor, for a Therapy Clinic for the years 2022 and 2023. Bylaw number 3444-21, to authorize the Corporation Municipality of Wawa to enter into agreement with Emma de Gagne for the lease of office space at 96 Broadway Avenue, lower floor, for a dental hygienist clinic. Bylaw number 3445-21, to authorize the Corporation Municipality of Wawa to enter into agreement with the Wawa Food Bank for the lease of a portion of the west end of 96 Broadway Avenue, lower floor, for a food bank. Bylaw number 3446-21, to authorize the Corporation Municipality of Wawa to enter into a lease agreement with Chadwick Home Inc. respecting the lease of office space situated at 3 Maple Street, Wawa, Ontario. Bylaw number 3447-21, to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on the 16th day of November 2021. Bylaw number 3448-21, to authorize the sale of municipal land described as Lot C on Walker Engineering Drawing number A1-2007-32-G1 and known as 9 White Drive to RD Yard Care, Richard and Margaret Davidson.
Are there any questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Resolution to move into closed session.
Moved by Councillor Schaefer, second by Councillor Hatfield. Resolved that this committee proceed in camera at 7:43 PM in order to address the following matters pertaining to excuse me, item number 1, personnel issue, 1 item, performance appraisal, contract review related to labor relations or employee negotiations. Item number 2, legal issue, 1 item, offer to purchase property, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. And item number 3, legal issue, Bucks Marina, the security of property of the municipality or local board.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
We will Screen says we're. Yes, and Mayor, if I may, I had one announcement that I wanted to share that I forgot to earlier,
Right,
if I may now.
yes.
Mayor, I received an email from former Mayor Jim Aquino, and I apologize in the excitement of the moment. I forgot to share it at the time you announced your pending retirement, and it's a tribute to Ron Rhodey, Mayor of Wawa. Your worship, please accept our sincere congratulations for 21 years of dedicated service to Wawa's Municipal Council. Devoting over 2 decades to the town is a testament to your commitment to public service and to changing people's lives for the better. Wishing you and Lena only the best as you embark on a new adventure where Wawa will surely always be in your heart. Warmest wishes, Jim and Adele Aquino. And I know that Jim was watching along with Ivan Besner tonight in honor of your last council meeting.
Well, thank you very much, and I certainly learned a lot from Jim. He was really my very first term of council, so looking forward to seeing Jim and Adele in Sault Ste. Marie, as well as Ivan and Janet, and almost has a whole bridge group down there already. So, and enough guys to sit around and talk about politics for a long time. Looking forward to that. So thank you very much. Just returning to our agenda, there was no business arising from the closed session. Next meeting council, which looks like will be a busy one, is Tuesday, December 14th. And we have a motion to adjourn.
Moved by Councillor Hatfield, resolved that the meeting close at 8:38 p.m.
All in favor? Carried, thank you, and after 21 years, Mayor Rhodey is signing off. Thank you. Have a great night.
Sounds like MASH. Yeah, I remember MASH. Signing off.
Ah,
Great.
it's been a
You
good
know
one.
what? I wasn't sure how the last meeting would go. It was a really good meeting and a lot of good discussion. And
Yeah, yeah.
I feel
It was
good about
positive. Very
it.
positive.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, we'll continue our celebration on Thursday, so council, please don't forget to come to the staff service awards and holiday luncheon on Thursday at noon in the banquet room. We have about 42 people registered. Almost everyone's coming, so
Good.
look forward to seeing you there. And I believe we extended an invite to Lean.
Oh, we haven't, but I'm sure she'll come.
Okay. I thought Kathy called, but maybe you could
Okay.
just double check. You know,
Okay.
Lean is
Just
more than
pretend.
welcome to come.
Okay,
Good
very
for
good.
you.
Okay.
Take a new-
Yeah, very good. Yeah, thank you very much. And good luck. And I will watch you guys. I'll have to.